Howdy folks, YouTube, what's going on? So we're back in the garage today. The 240 behind me, it's flipped around. So what are we doing? Something in the back end maybe. You're right. Rhetorical question. So what we're doing today is I bought something that's factory OEM Nissan. Very expensive, somewhat rare you could say. And I'm excited to get this install going, so I wanted to get this video going so that I could do that. So what did I order? Let's take a look right here. Ta-da! Any guesses? Figure it out yet? Yes. Oh. 180SX Taillight Kit Oem from Nissan parts. Yeah. So, what did I get here? So this is a full kit, full taillight swap kit. Well, not swap kit, but it's an OEM replacement. So, what does it come with? 2 taillights. And then the difference with this taillight setup as opposed to a regular 240 setup, you actually have to change that centerpiece and the little bezel trim that goes on the bottom. And if you don't know, you have to change your locking mechanism. You can I think you can use the factory, like your standard 240 locking mechanism, but you need to shim it with like washers because they sit at a different depth. I would say it's worth getting this. This was part of my kit, so I don't think it was a big cost, but even if it's 30 or 40 or 50 bucks, it's probably worth it. Because if you're spending this much money on this kit, which is not cheap, you're gonna wanna do that. So let's have a look here at what the taillights look like now. So here's the taillights on the car now. Like, I guess in my opinion anyway, the rear end of 240s are not the best part, but it's gonna get a hell of an update and it's gonna look a lot better. So those parts that we talked about, left taillight, right taillight, center portion, then this trim piece here. It sucks because it's so slightly different, but you need that piece to do this kit. You can't do this kit without that piece. So I actually do have it right here in between my drum kit, and I got it painted. So we're gonna swap that in. They give you a few other pieces with this. You get some stuff that's like, you know, it's like a sticky, tacky bead, I guess, and you lay that bead around where you're installing your new taillights so that they don't leak when you get water in them. So when you take out the old ones, you're gonna have to cut through that stuff, take that tacky black pasty stuff out, and you lay this new stuff in, but you'll see when we get to that. So let's start taking the taillights out. Okay, we're in the trunk now. You can see they make it really easy. They got these like, how the hell do you do this? There you go. They make these little hatches so you can get at your taillight bulbs and stuff. But this piece comes out pretty easy. I've taken it in and out a few times over the time I've owned this car. There's a few pop clips right here. We just pop in the middle and they'll pop out. And then 4 Phillips heads to take this trim piece off. Once that's off, we'll take this off. And then we can just kind of pull these corner sections on either side out of the way. And once those are out of the way, we'll be able to see everything here. So let's go ahead and do that. Reminder, anytime you're doing stuff with lights or anything electric, go ahead and unplug your battery first, because I could have electrocuted myself, killed myself, and this video would have never aired. You would have never known that. So just make sure you go ahead and do that. Okay, back to it. Opened up this back hatch here. Get yourself a little ratchet. with maybe an extension if you'd like, and an 8mm socket, and work your way down and take off all these nuts on the back end, and we can get these taillights out. While you're doing this, if you're the kind of guy that works on his car at all, I always recommend getting a tray, something maybe even magnetic, to hold all the bolts and stuff when you're working on projects, because we've all done projects where you lose all that stuff and it's such a pain. So just make sure you do that. Just gonna wiggle it up gently. Make sure we're not breaking nothing. You see that black stuff? Oh man. And there you go. It's out. Taillights are out. I cleaned most of that stuff off. You can see it's not perfect. That's okay. Now what I'm going to do, the last piece I got to remove before we start installing, we're going to want to take this locking mechanism out. You can see these two Phillips head back there. We're going to take that out and switch it out for a new one. So as I was saying before, when you order this kit from Nissan, you get a new one and you get two new keys. Oops, two new keys, sort of. There you go. So this is what I was talking about before. Just have a look at the difference in size. So obviously the old versus the new, and you can see the size and depth difference. So we were saying that you can use this, apparently you might be able to, but I wouldn't bother. For what this costs, go ahead and get yourself a new one. Okay, so here I have the new taillight and the original taillight. You can see the wiring is the same colors, so you're going to want to take this piece off of the old taillight, cut this harness, and we're going to cut this harness and put this plug from the old taillight onto the new taillight so that you can plug that into your car. So I'm actually going to just leave this clip on here because I don't think it's meant to come off, and I'm going to cut it with a little bit of length. Same over here, leave myself some length. We're going to cut, we're going to use some quick connectors. I got these here. You can also use, you can solder them. Soldering is probably one of the best options, and then also some heat shrink. So you slide it over top, run a lighter over this stuff, and it shrinks, and then it'll seal it so no water or nothing can get in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. Okay, so I went ahead and cut those. I left a little bit of wire on the edge for myself, and then I cut some heat shrink tubing and I slid those on. You're going to want to do that ahead of time because once you crimp your plug to this, you're not going to be able to slide these on. So once you do that, we're going to slide these up and just shrink them with the lighter, and it'll create a nice seal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So that's pretty much what you want that to look like, and we'll slide these up now. And hit them with the lighter. But you can see, like, that's a very clean, easy way to do it. You shouldn't have any problems. Nothing's gonna, short. And once again, simple. Black to black, green yellow to green yellow, green white to green white. So I recommend doing it this way. It's very easy. This is the first one. We'll go ahead and do the next one and install this boy. Everything's tight now. I put the taillights back in. I'm about to show you them. They look sick. This is such an awesome mod if you have an S13. Even before I owned one of these cars, I wanted these taillights, and I've had this car for a few years. I'm like been waiting to pull the trigger because they're so expensive, but totally worth it. So basically it's just everything we did in reverse, super simple, super easy. I really recommend going that route by just switching your plugs over. I know some guys hardwire them in to the taillight harness, but if you ever have to unplug your lights, you don't want to have to be cutting wires again. So let's take a look. I got the taillights in. I got to go back in still and put all the trunk paneling back in, but let's have a look. This is what I'm not going to make you guys watch me put the inside back together because we already did that. We took it out. You just do it in reverse. Make sure you kept all your nuts and bolts and plugs, clips, but just showing you how that looks. I taped them up and they clip right back into the original plugs. This is that center panel, taillight here. When you're tightening in these taillights, make sure just like a wheel, you're kind of going around or a star pattern to get that rain bead to seat. and just create a seal all the way around. But I'm just gonna go back in now and put everything back together, and that's how you do it. Super easy, super simple. So if you have any questions, just comment below, like, subscribe, and we'll do some more videos on this S13, all right?